So over the past 8 years, I have done over 3,000 wholesaling real estate deals. That seems like a very, very weird number. Like, how can a 25-year-old be able to do over 3,000 wholesaling real estate deals? Well, this comes from my sheer volume of deals that I do, right? Because, year one, year two, year three, year four, five, six, seven, eight. And the amount of deals I do kind of goes from here to here to here to here to here to here. And then it just keeps going up a massive trajectory. And this is because my skill sets, my teams, and my ability to scale just keeps increasing. And I've been able to do this not because I was able to go from, doing 10 deals my first year to 3,000 overall, because I went from doing 10 deals a year to doing 500 in the next year, right? It was all slow but steady increments. And what I want to show you today is exactly how I would get started in wholesaling real estate right now and kind of just teach the young fellas out here, from an old vet, how to start making a ton of money in wholesaling real estate. Because I have so many people that get lost, so many new people. And I mean, we're almost, if you kind of look at all of our communities combined, right? Like if you look at our YouTube channel, freewholesaling.com, zachdiscord.com, right? We're closing in almost 500 people joining the communities that I have every single day. And that means in the course of a week, that's almost 3,500 people that are like, well, I'm brand new. What do I do, right? And we just want to give a refresher to as many new wholesalers as we can, and really any experienced wholesalers, of how simple this business is to start making money. And even let me help people out that are making money wholesaling, of how they can even make 6 figures a month doing this, and effectively how to scale out the correct ways. And so, I always like to think of wholesaling real estate in 3 distinct categories, right? So category number 1 is just going to be going out here and finding deals. And this is how I always look at wholesaling, finding deals. Number 2 is going to be locking up deals. And then 3 is going to be basically, selling your deals. And yes, I have terrible handwriting. We already know that. So if I really look at wholesaling real estate, it's basically a 1, 2, 3 step process. And so if we can fundamentally learn how to do the 1, 2, 3 step process, we're going to end up making a ton of money here. And so if we can just focus on these 3 things, and really most people try to master everything all at once. If you're a brand new beginner, I'm telling you right now, 80%, okay, 80% of all your effort is going to be right here on finding the deals. This is the hardest part. This is where you're going to be spending most of your time. Now, maybe if I had a course or, program to sell you, I would say, selling the deals is the most important part. And that's why you got to buy X leads to find all these cash buyers, or locking up deals is the best, so buy my program for being a good acquisitions guy. That's just disingenuous. After doing so much wholesaling real estate deals, the primary part that I always look, if I'm looking to scale out a business, especially in a new virtual market, is always going to be the marketing. So if I'm looking to start wholesaling real estate in Wichita, Kansas, right? It's not even the part of locking up deals, because if I could lock up a deal anywhere around the country, that's not my problem. And finding buyers it's pretty simple. You just pull a cash buyers list on X leads or something, right? It's always going to be the, what I call the X factor, right? No pun intended, right? Is going to be the marketing, right? That's going to be the hardest part for us wholesalers. And so finding deals is 80% of the problem. 20% of the problem, is locking up the deal and then trying to find cash buyers. But locking up the deal is the easiest part, because you just, hey, I'm a cash buyer looking to buy the deal. You just go and comp the property and you make an offer. I mean, it's so simple. Finding buyers can be a little more difficult if you don't have a good deal, but most of your effort here is going to be going out here and finding these deals, right? And so we got to simplify and break it down, because there's this massive tree of wholesaling, right? And so if I give you a broad strokes overview, right? I look at it as a tree, right? So if we talk about wholesaling real estate, right? There's so many branches and it can get so confusing, but again, it's 3 things, right? It's going to be the marketing, finding motivated sellers. Then it's going to be basically your acquisitions, so ACQ, and then your dispo, right? So it's going to be these 3 branches. Now, to kind of go down these branches, right? So we can make them the same color, we can change them, but let's actually do it here. So marketing. How do I break down marketing, right? Well, marketing is going to be free and paid, but marketing then can be branched out onto two things. It's going to be your lists, and then it's going to be your channels. Now, a lot of people think it's only two. When it comes to marketing and finding motivated sellers, it's going to only be two things, when really there's a third branch. And this is where I kind of call the plan branch. Now, what plan kind of stands for is going to be a marketing plan or your consistency. Because it's just not two things of why you're going to become successful or not, right? Because most people look at your marketing and say, okay, well, are you pulling the right lists? Okay, cool. And are you doing the right channels, right? Are you cold calling correctly? Are you going out here and texting the right way? Are you dragging for dollars? It don't really matter. Because you could have, technically the right list, check. You can have the right marketing channel, but if you don't have a good plan or if you're not consistent, you ain't gonna get those leads. And all of this funnels into one thing, which is finding a motivated seller. That is it. That is what this whole branch is all about, right? This is what we all focus on. This is the big enchilada. The main part, right? We could skip all this stuff. The main point of marketing is to find someone that says, hey, I am looking to sell my property. That is it. Now, what is the process of acquisitions? Well, what the process of acquisitions is, and actually, let's make this a flow chart. This would actually be a little easier to do. So, wow. There we go. A little simpler. There we go. Boom. So all of it kind of comes down to this main point of finding a motivated seller. So that is marketing, right? So we go out here and we start trying to market, finding people. Now we have to start pulling lists, channels, combining that together. So I might pull, let's say, a code violation list from the government. Then I'm going to go cold call that list, and I'm going to do it consistently, which makes a good plan. And eventually we do that, we're going to find a ton of great motivated sellers. Now, what is acquisitions? The next part is going to be basically your closing. How good are you at closing acquisitions, whatever you want to call it, right? I'll put quotations because it's depending what you want to do. But the main goal and the main point of acquisitions or closing a seller is to convert that person that says, yes, I want to sell, to a signed contract. That is it. That is the main point. I'm going to convert you into a signed contract. Now, there's a lot of other things we can do, right? So this can come from having a good script, making sure you got the right offer set up, making sure you got good rapport. I mean, there's a lot of factors of how you're going to get that contract signed or not, but a lot of it doesn't really matter. And again, all this stuff is about 20% of why you're going to be good at closing a seller. Now, I have no agenda. I'm not here to really sell you anything when it comes to this. So what's the point of me telling you what's going to work or not? But again, your wholesaling coach ain't going to tell you this. But 20% of your success when it comes to being a great closer or closing a seller, it's not even your script that's important. It's not really your offer. It's not even your rapport. The main reason if you are going to go out here and sign more deals than the next guy is going to be speed. Speed is going to be essential for your success. Now, I don't care whoever doesn't agree with me, who argues with me. Well, if you're arguing with me, have you closed more deals than me? Probably not. So I really don't want to hear it. But the main goal here is, let's say we have two wholesalers, right? Wholesaler number one and wholesaler number two. Wholesaler number one might be 6 years in the wholesaling game, closed 1,000 sellers, and it's like the guy, you get in front of him, he's going to close you. Cool. Awesome. And you got guy number two who has just started wholesaling this month, maybe someone like you that they went through freewholesaling.com, they went through, the Discord, right? That they understand the wholesaling acquisitions, right? They went through the modules. They're like, okay, well, I know how to roughly have a conversation and get a deal closed. That's pretty cool. And the problem is, who's going to win? Well, obviously, if we have wholesaler number one and then wholesaler number two, right? Again, number one, he's done 1,000 deals in 6 years of wholesaling, right? And then we got this basically new guy. Let's draw a picture. All right, this will make it easier. New guy, he's new, all nice, experienced guy. He's all smug. He's flexing, he's got his biceps, and he's like, I'm the guy, okay? So which guy, if we have let's say this seller, okay? And, let's give him a little top hat, and he is looking to sell his house. Well, if we put them up against each other and they go meet the guy at the same time, obviously this guy is going to win. I mean, that's pretty obvious. He has an insane advantage, right? Like, there's no way that guy number 2 is going to win. Like, he's done. He's cooked. But here's the thing. How does new guy have the advantage over the experienced wholesaler? Well, here's the truth. Let's say that this guy is a cold call lead. And let's say this new guy called the guy, let's do 1 week before. And then he calls him, but he did 1 week after. Now, who's going to win this one? Well, 80% chance that guy that is got the deal before the other dude wins. And what I mean by this is speed is going to be the most important part about closing sellers, because if I can just set an appointment and meet with this guy and I am just have like basic skills, I have a really good chance of winning versus the experienced dude, because it doesn't matter about the skills. It's more about speed. Because here's the timeline. All right. So here's the timeline for closing sellers. Okay. Let's do this in days. All right. Day 1, 2, so it's day 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. And so let's say day 0 is when the seller decides he wants to sell the property. And let's say new guy decides to call him on day 3. And then he says, yes, I want to sell, dude. Well, can you go meet me tomorrow? And now, boom, day number 4, there's an appointment set. And guess what happens at that appointment? If you use my scripts, you condition the seller, you have a pretty good chance. I mean, at least 70, 80% chance that they say yes, right? Even if you suck, you're probably a 60% close rate. That means, boom, contract is signed. Let's say 2 days later, experienced wholesaler, let's actually make him red right here. Experienced wholesaler decides he is going to go out here and call this guy and say, hey, you're looking to sell? The guy's going to say, no, I signed a contract. So the thing about it is, whoever's going to win, it's not even about being the best closer in the world. You just got to get in front of the seller quicker before the next guy. And it's all about speed. Now, if, there's so many variables to this, right? And again, like, you can nitpick this so much, but let's go here, right here. Let's say, for example, for this example, let's get rid of clean slate here, right? Let's say this guy is a chronic, follow-up procrastinator guy. Most likely, this guy is going to win, right? If there's follow-ups and there's actually skill set involved on how good you are on the follow-ups, how good you are to build rapport, this guy's probably going to get the deal. But again, it's always going to be speed. If you can get in front of a seller and set an appointment and make an offer in front of the person, or even virtually, and you condition them the way we teach, you are going to beat the better person. And that's why I put a lot of weight on knowing how to close a seller, right? It is very important how to do it. But I can teach employees to do it at 70% of my skill level. I cannot teach someone to be 70% of my skill level when it comes to actually building a wholesaling operation or business, right? Just the absolute truth. And so going out here and understanding that a signed contract, it's going to be mostly about speed. So 80% speed, 20%, I would say, execution. That's the way I'll describe it. And so, again, it's important, right? Because if you get in front of a seller and you absolutely bomb the appointment, or you're so nervous over the phones, you're not going to sound good, right? I'd also add confidence on this one too. I like talking about confidence a lot too, because if you have no confidence, it's going to suck, right? And so it's like if you have a meal and you decide that you have a nice soup, but you decide you're going to put 20% rancid meat in your soup. Well, the whole soup's going to suck. It ain't going to be good, because if you have no confidence, whole deal sucks. The cool part is I can pretty much build confidence in any newbie if you go through the course, which is absolutely free, by the way. But if you put 20% rancid food in the soup, the whole soup's done. But confidence is pretty much the easiest skill set you can give to someone, right? Because you don't even need a script. So again, what is confidence? Confidence is a belief in the words you say and the things you do. And so a lot of wholesalers that don't have confidence when it comes to closing a seller, it's kind of just a translation, right? It's secret talk for, I just don't believe in myself. Well, let's kind of break this down. Like, why don't you believe in yourself? Why don't you believe you can actually close a motivated seller? Why don't you believe you can actually go get a wholesaling deal? Well, like, you think you're faking it? You don't think you have a good cash buyers? Like, you think you're a fraud? Like, it's up to you, but like, you and your partner are looking to actually buy the property for cash. So I personally don't see the main issue here. I don't see why this is like the end of the world for everyone. That's just personally me, right? Like, I don't get it. I think it's pretty good. And so signing a contract, it's going to be mostly about speed. Again, scripts, offers, stuff like that, right? That's going to be very important. Now, the last part here is going to be on your dispositions. Going actually out here and finding cash buyers, right? So your dispo. So dispositions is all about the process of converting a signed contract to a sold contract. Pretty simple. All right. So boom, boom. Oops, there we go. We got a signed contract and we got a sold contract. Now, here's the process, okay? Who do you sell a contract to? You sell the contract to a cash buyer. We all know this. So here's the thing. What is a cash buyer? Well, a cash buyer is only going to be two things. Cash buyers are actually pretty simple. They're simple creatures. You know the meme, men only want one thing. Well, cash buyers only want two things. Okay, cash buyers, fundamentally, the two things they want to do is, number one, they either want to rent out the property, right? So they want to buy the house, maybe fix it up a little, put a tenant in there, and then cash flow. It's because they got millions of dollars. They're just looking to buy a $250,000 house and then get rental income, tax advantages, stuff like that, cha-ching. Number two, they're going to look to flip the house. So I would say a majority of your cash buyers are going to look to flip the property, but you are going to find some of those old rich guys that are looking to rent it out. I'm not old, but I am rich, so I do like to buy, really good deals that are cash flow for me from you guys if you can provide me deals, right? So that'll work too. And so that's primarily where we're going to be at now. Now, guys that are subject twos, right? Mostly going to be people are renting out the property, creative finance, rent out too. There's arbitrage on that. But most of your cash buyers are going to look just to only do those two things. Now, let's get rid of the flip houses part. Okay, let's just make this really simple. All right. Let's just primarily focus, just for sake of this, right? Let's just figure out people that are looking to rent out properties. How do you find people, rich monocle wearing, rich snotty people that, I am looking to rent out property. How do you find those type of guys? What do they all have in common? Do they all drive Lambos? No, some of them drive Hondas. Like, some of them are like those like rich guys that you can't even tell. So it's like, dang, how am I going to find them? Well, do I go to the local Ritz-Carlton nearby and they're just sitting there drinking a nice Chardonnay? No. Some of them are just chilling at home with their family. So it's like, how do I find them? Is there a real estate club? I'll be honest with you, a lot of people are like, I just go to the Real Estate Investing Association meetings. I'll be straight up with you. A majority of the rich landlord guys, they don't go to real estate investing clubs. They're not here to stroke their egos. They're like just looking to buy properties, right? And mostly they go through the MLS, right? And so where are they going to be at? Well, I will tell you this. There's only one thing that I've personally found in my 8 years of wholesaling that has a 100% hit rate of finding who these rich, snobby people are. 100% success rate. Then maybe like, Zach, I'm very interested. What do you mean? Like, what? Let me highlight this. I have a 100% success rate of figuring out where these rich landlords are. And I can figure out exactly who they are too, pretty dang quick. I don't have to go to no stupid little club. Ready for this? People that rent out property always list the house for rent. This has always worked for me. Now, not every house is publicly listed for rent, right? Some of them they privately find a guy to, go rent it out from them. But most of these rich landlords that own multiple rental properties, they're going to list it for rent. And that is exactly, my friends, the secret to finding these type of people. Now, the question goes, again, well, where do people list their house for rent? Not just the MLS, but it will be obviously number one, the MLS on market. That's pretty obvious, right? Number two, they're going to list it on Facebook. Facebook Marketplace is actually a decent area to find. Facebook Marketplace. Number three, they're going to go out here on Craigslist. Number four is going to be a Facebook group. There's definitely, for rent groups, Facebook for rents. They're going to do some like co-living listing that I have seen that. So that is kind of a new thing. They'll list it. There's a bunch of websites that you can like post your co-living thing. I think Pad Split's the big one. There's some other ones out there. Or on top of that too, they're just going to go out here and list it on Zillow, right? That's kind of the most common one that I've seen. And that's pretty much it. Now, my favorite one, the one I like to focus on primarily, is going to be Zillow. The reason why I like Zillow is because when you list it with a realtor on the MLS, yeah, it's usually, one or two properties you do. But on Zillow, you kind of have to be a certain, how do I say, like avatar of a cash buyer, because you're Mr. I don't need no dang realtor and I own rental properties. This means they like getting a good deal and they like money. And the cool part is if I can provide a contract to them where they can get a deep discount on a property to rent out and they don't have to deal with no dang realtor, and they're already predisposed to not like realtors, but they like renting out properties, Zillow is going to be an awesome option because it's not a FSBO, but for rent by owner. So for rent, FRBO, for rent by owner. Furbo? Furbo. Isn't a Furbo what is a Furbo? A Furbo is like, I've heard that term. Lord, I'm going to get canceled. I've heard Furbo. Furbo? Furbo. What in the world is a Furbo? Furbo is a pet camera. I think I bought Rick one once. Okay, that's what a Furbo is. But basically, Zillow is where we're going to be going out here and finding a majority of them. Now, of course, you can go call real estate agents and see if you can go sell your contract to the client, or you can go behind their back. Find the property. So 563 Main Avenue is listed on the MLS. You can go on the property appraiser, see who actually owns it, skip trace and call them up. That works too. Facebook Marketplace, you can do kind of the whole thing. The whole shtick here is saying, hey, I'm not looking to rent out your property. I'm a wholesaler and I get properties under contract all the time, seeing if you're looking to buy it in their rental property. I say, hey, I actually have a property under contract across the street, looking to buy it for a rental, and just see if they're looking to buy it via wholesale, right? So if they can buy it on this contract, you can double close, whatever you want to do, right? That's how you do those type of sellers. Sorry, those type of cash buyers. Now, number two are going to be the flippers. Flippers are going to be a lot more difficult, okay? Flippers on average are going to be in Facebook groups. I said Facebook groups, right? Yeah, Facebook, same thing. Some landlords are in real estate investing groups on Facebook, so I think Facebook just in general. So let me, boom, now I'm right. Okay, cool. So if we just go here and figure out they're mostly going to be in Facebook groups, you can make posts in Facebook groups to find cash buyers. We teach that in Wholesaling.com a lot. But on top of that too, a software like xleads.com is just going to pull a quick algorithm. And what xleads.com basically does, which is, the best wholesaling software ever, it basically finds people that, they buy a house and then they sell the house for a profit. And then on top of that too, in under 1 year. So that's pretty much the algorithm XLeads does to find flippers. And it's like the most accurate you could probably get. But if there's only like 3% appreciation in a market, right, and this guy bought this house for 100 grand and sold it for 180, he most likely renovated the property. And so that is how you go out here. That's why I use XLeads to mostly find flippers, and that's pretty much the fastest way to do it. Facebook groups are really good. On top of the two, there's a third way, and you can say this for, I guess for the landlord type guys, but a JV, like you can send me a wholesaling deal at sellmypaper.com and we can split the deal. The problem is you have to give up equity for it. But that's how you basically go out here and find cash buyers. right? And so we kind of look at this process again. Again, I'm kind of talking this pretty simple, but we find deals, we lock up deals, we sell the deal, right? So again, the process is we market, we do list channels, make a plan, find a motivated seller, we get it signed, right? About speed's the most important one. Now you have more speed, obviously do more marketing, have the right confidence scripts, get this contract sold to a cash buyer, 100% hit rate. That's how you find cash buyers, how you find house flippers, and boom, you're going to basically be able to do it the right way. Now, what part of this process have I done to do 10 to all the way to doing hundreds and hundreds of deals every single year? Now, the reason I'm able to do this pretty dang quick, and I ain't gonna lie here, it's pretty simple, is all you have to do is just have people. And so, how do I scale up my operations pretty dang quick? All I have to do is just, wow, that looks terrible. All I have to do is go out here and just add people to the operation. Just add people. People are the reason why any operation gets bigger, right? Like Steve Jobs isn't going out here and building all the iPhones himself, right? He hired people to do it and then he made margins on that, right? So you mostly add people, number one, on the marketing side. That is the first hire. And so these are going to be basically, callers, VAs, and even kind of like a manager who can manage kind of the whole marketing once you get a little bigger. On top of that too, and then you can go hire more closers, people who actually go on the appointments or virtually close sellers. And then you can basically have dispo agents who all they do is dispo their deals, right? So call them dispo agents. They're not real estate agents. Some of them can be real estate agents. I actually let my closers be real estate agents because they could sometimes list the property. And again, you saw that 1, 2, 3 punch that I kind of told before. How do you make more money and scale out an operation? You first focus mainly on the marketing, add more people. It's like, well, we don't have enough people to go on appointments. Well, then we add closers. Well, we have too many contracts. Then you got dispositions people. And overall, you get to the point where you can make millions of dollars every single year wholesaling real estate. Now, you don't need this all by yourself, right? Obviously, you should be in a community of people doing it. And this is where the average person goes, sells you some. For the low price of $7,000, I'll go show you this. For $7,000, I will give you a community. Does that sound good? Is that making you want to buy my thing? I will provide you a community. I will give you the highest quality course out here. Okay. I'll provide my contracts. I'll provide my scripts. Did I also mention the community has 35,000 people in it? Pretty cool. All right, cool. So it's proven. Scripts, you'll get in front of basically thousands of wholesalers who are making 6+ figures every single year to talk to. You can talk to them in our Discord, which is also provided. And it is awesome. I also do 5 live streams in this community every single week. Okay, do you want to buy it? Are you ready? Are you ready for the buy price? Ready for it? Here, sorry, it's the value ladder. I am going to do a one-time sale. It's not going to be $7,000. I'm going to do it for the price of $0. All you have to do is just go to freewholesaling.com, and for a limited time only, for the next 1,000 years, only for the next 1,000 years, after that I will start charging, you can go and learn how to wholesale real estate absolutely for free at freewholesaling.com. That is my community. That's how you absolutely join it for free. It's for my course content, all my information. I go deeper in the weeds of actually talking to sellers live, talking to cash buyers live, and actually showing you how to build confidence in a real wholesaling real estate business to make money. Join it for the low price of $0 right now. Free 99. That's it. So guys, if you got any value from this video, do me a favor. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you soon. This is Zach Ginn signing out. Have a blessed one.